Commuters and transport groups are preparing for the impact of the spike in fuel prices. And one sector closely watching this situation is the motorcycle ride-hailing industry. And joining us now is Angkas CEO George Royeca. George, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Danny.
Quite a nightmare situation for all of us here, no? Medyo mahirap na nga ang ekonomiya. So this is quite a nightmare. Give us an idea of the immediate impact and what Angkas is doing in this situation.
Well, we're always looking at gas prices. No? Syempre, obviously, that impacts our motorcycle fleet directly. But it doesn't always mean that we will have a price hike. In fact, our fares our price matrix are pretty fixed, no, from the government, from our regulators under LTFRB, and we don't regularly increase prices. So I don't think that right now there's anything that's gonna increase the price for motorcycle. We want to make it as affordable as possible to the commuters at this point in time.
What would cause a price increase, George, just to manage our people's expectations here?
We'll continue to monitor, right? If the gas prices really soar and it impacts our fleet, as you know, motorcycles are still quite fuel efficient.
Okay.
And for us, we do a lot of, I guess, internal remedies. We do our own incentive plans to make sure that we balance the take-home pay over bikers as well. So we welcome subsidies from government and other incentives externally, but we also do our own internal ones.
When you say incentives, you have the announcements from the government already, no? So you've got the DOTR 3.5 billion subsidies for the commuters. That's the free rides. A lot are buses actually, and then you've got the LTFRB fuel subsidies of 2.5 billion. That also covered some tricycle drivers before. Are you covered in any way under this program?
I believe so. I believe we are. I think we're working closely with the Department of Transportation, and I know that motorcycle taxis are included as part of the fuel subsidies.
And how could that help you in this situation? Does
Like I
that
said,
just buoy
subsidies.
the pricing, no?
Yeah, I mean, it brings down the cost, right? Obviously, for fuel for bikers, and it increases their take-home pay. But on top of that, we also do a lot of work with the private sector, the gas stations. We have locked-in pricing with them, and other types of incentives as well.
Okay. This is not the first time this has happened, although it's been about 4 years since we saw the Russia-Ukraine war, and Angkas was already there. How did you cope during that period?
A lot of different interventions. For us, we continuously make improvements to our app so that the algorithm creates better matching. We give them better rides, more rides per hour, as well as use other forms of alternative jobs like logistics to be able to increase overall take-home pay of our bikers, as well as partnerships with the private sector. Like I said earlier, we do partnerships with gas stations as well to be able to manage costs.
Have you? Can you nuance that for us? What kind of partnerships can you have with gas stations with regard to the cost? Are you involved in the pricing in any way, or the supply? Give us an idea.
So pricing discounts. Of course, now we'll have to
Discounts.
revisit them. I'm not sure how much more discounts we can still apply or we can continue to apply, but we have those partnerships in place.
With specific gas stations in the metro, you mean?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Actually, a bright spot, of course, it's never really a bright spot, but a bright spot for Angkas is that with this surging costs in fuel, those that have cars might turn to Angkas as a cheaper option. Do you expect that?
Yes, I think for us, a lot of people use this alternative transport for many emergencies, and I think this calls for one: rising gas prices and cars being a bit more expensive because they also take longer on the road. So this is something that could be a positive, little bit of a positive, like you said, glimmer of a light for motorcycle taxis.
Did you see that during before? happening?
For us, it's really more on congestion rather than gas prices. It would really depend. Sometimes, because of rising gas prices, a lot of, uh, I guess, interventions happen, like work from home, 4-day work weeks, also as what the president said with the government. So that also reduces congestion on
Tama.
the roads, and people go out less, and that means less rides.
Okay. Do you have any call for the excise tax issue? Is that something that you feel strongly about?
For us, we work very closely with the government. Anything to bring down fuel prices, especially for the working sector, which is motorcycle taxis or the transport sector that uses vehicles as a means for their livelihood, is always welcome.
Sorry, George. Can you clarify you are pro the suspension of excise tax right now because fuel prices have breached 100?
Yeah, for us, anything that will bring down the fuel prices is something that we always welcome.
Okay. Are
Yeah.
you looking at the situation of supply of the Philippines? You have 90% of the crude oil coming from the Middle East. Is this something that concerns you? Have you discussed this with the DOE or the Transport Department regarding just general supply of oil?
Like I said now, Dania, this is not the first rodeo. We've had a lot of these, type of situation before, and the supply has never been an issue, at least from our end. It's really more on managing the biker take-home pay or our biker partners,
Right.
providing them, the right income levels, and putting in the incentives or other types of intervention to be able to make sure that they don't get hit so much. And in the past, we've been able to, to not just survive, but be okay during these times of crisis.
But of course, you also need to be able to manage your operational costs, no, George? How are you able to balance that as a company that is, of course, primarily 100% reliant on the costs of fuel, which is your main cost? How can you manage that, which is now very variable, and still maintain the fixed operating costs of the salaries that you're promising and of course the fares that you are promising to your commuters?
Two things. One, we have to always be operationally efficient. Like also following the president's call of tightening our belts. We do a lot of meetings online. That also prevents our own employees from having to spend more and going to work. So that's a big plus for us in terms of operational efficiency. And number two is really technology.
Okay.
We continuously make improvements to the app, make sure algorithms are better so that they can provide better rides. They can also provide more rides, more efficient rides that is along the routes of our bikers so that they don't have to veer away so far. We have back-to-back features or auto-accept features that allow bikers to, optimize their routes so that they get the most bang for their buck, so to speak, in terms of the payouts. So this manages their take-home pay much better. So technology plays a very very important role in making sure that we're always efficient in our operations and we're technologically optimized all the time.
How has the culture of ride hailing, especially with Angkas, changed in recent years? Is it, are there more people? Do you have a fixed amount of fleet that is regulated, of course, by the LTFRB? Is there more demand than supply of the fleet? Are you in expansion mode? Give us more ideas on how Angkas is operating now.
Well, I think the culture is very different from, I guess, maybe almost a decade ago. I think we've been operating for almost a decade now, back to when, it wasn't fully accepted. But right now, there's a
Right.
wide acceptance of motorcycle taxis everywhere. I think the market has grown. The supply is something that we're always continuously working with the regulators on in terms of how do we make sure that we have the right supply and demand. And for us, expansion is one of the key pillars that we want to be able to implement this year. I think government is already working on making, on how to do this, how to give this opportunity effectively and safely to the rest of the country. Because right now, majority of the country, well, at least motorcycle taxis are just implemented in the metropolitans for now, and there's still a lot of other cities or urban cities outside of the metropolitans that need this type of service.
How can you give us a number for your fleet and what you're looking at to expand?
I think right now it's still the same. We haven't added to our fleet. It's still roughly around 30,000 across the two metropolitans.
Okay, that's a lot.
But we hope to expand to other markets and provide the service elsewhere.
So the 30,000, George, is because there's a limit with what is allowable on the road. Is that correct?
Correct.
Or is this
Correct.
a choice of Angkas?
There's a quota, there's a cap that is implemented by the LTFRB in terms of how many bikers you can have as a provider, as an operator on the road.
And is this evaluated annually? Do you have ongoing talks on how are you able to expand this figure?
So this was an evolution, right? In the beginning, it was really about survival, making sure that we were accepted, and asking for these types of regulations. And the second part of it was ensuring that we had this many bikers in the road, and we were able to train them. We were able
Right.
to secure the necessary safety protocols and maintain the safety standards that we were claiming and that we could, right? So there was a lot of discussion around that. So I think now this year is about how do we expand the service to other areas. Hopefully also maybe looking at the quotas and making sure that we have the right supply and demand. But right now for us, our focus is really the current issue right now, which is the pricing of the gas price, and how do we make sure that we manage the biker take home pay and they don't get hit, which we believe, or at least they get minimally hit, or as minimal as possible. But I believe this is something that we've done across multiple crises, and this situation is something that we're not new to the situation.
When you say you want to expand outside of the metro, which areas are you talking about here?
Urban centers, there's a lot of cities outside of the metropolitan that are congested, and we have we've been reviewing a lot of these cities, and hopefully we can get the permits to be able to expand to them. We'll
Okay,
reveal
so
that in due
that's-
time.
All right, so that's in the offing. What are the commuters most worried about? Have they reached out to you? I'm sure you're very in touch with them. What are they worried about, and what's your message to them?
I think the commuters is always about primordial concern of the commuters is safety and of course reliability, right? And we have to make sure that we always are able to deliver a driver to you when you press the book button. And to us, we've always continuously increased that level of reliability. We've been through several price hikes and oil price crisis, and our customers and our passengers have always been happy with the service that we provide, and we're here to stay. And this is something that we work with the government very closely to be able to tide us over.
And your message to the drivers, George?
Just ride safely. Make sure that you just take all the bookings as much as you can, and ride safety. Always safety first is always for the passengers, and we will get through this together.
Safety first, and no reason to panic there. And of course, Angkas will do everything internally as well to be able to maintain or at least cushion the blow for our consumers and your employees. Thank you so much, Angkas CEO George Royeca.
Thank you, Dan.